Hi, this is Brian Wiklendt with Garfinkel Schwartz. I'm coming to you from Winter Park, Florida. I'm at the Wine Barn right now. The Wine Barn, in my opinion, has the best pizza in Orlando. And my office is actually in Maitland, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando, just 4 or 5 exits up from downtown. Disney's down a little bit to the south. I'm coming to you today to talk about PTSD, which I've done many times in the past. But this time I'm talking about clients that have PTSD and how different their cases are, as opposed to talking about PTSD itself. The difference in the cases are, number one, they're very hotly contested by the insurance company. They're almost always denied. So there has to be special care that's taken with a person that has PTSD and getting them through the process, the claims process, and getting potentially to the judge if need be. What we do as a firm, which I believe is relatively different than most firms, is we come to you. We understand the issues you have with PTSD, the crowds, the loud noises, the tremors, the panic attacks, that kind of stuff. I deal with that pretty much every day, and I really enjoy doing it, and I think that our firm is one of the best that accommodates PTSD clients. The biggest difference is during this entire process, we know that you need a little bit of extra care and a little bit of extra touch than the average person that just has a physical injury. What we do is we come to wherever you are. I've been to countless people's houses. I've met them at restaurants. I've met them even at, last week I actually met a client at his psychologist's office because that's where he was most comfortable. We also have Skype. We have video conferencing so that you can stay in your own home, relaxed, and not have to go anywhere. We accommodate you in those ways, but also anytime there's any type of a stressful event that occurs, namely a mediation, your deposition testimony that has to be taken, discovery that you have to, in writing, write back, and that causes all kinds of reliving the issues and reliving the events. So I come and make sure that someone is in person with you, whether that be me or my associate. We're there with you in person, making sure that if you need to take a break, we take a break. If you want to just stop the deposition and go outside for a smoke, you can go do that. And we're there in person, not on the phone, so that we can make sure that this stuff gets facilitated correctly. The only thing that I cannot do is go to an independent medical exam with you and sit with you during your exam with the psychiatrist. I'm not allowed to do that. But short of that, I would like to be there in person on any of these different events to make sure everything goes smoothly ahead of time, and that if panic attacks do arise or emotions start becoming tense, I'm there to put a break in the action and to go forward. There's also another difference, big difference, is that other than clients or people that are in the military, they get screened when something bad happens and an event happens that could cause PTSD. Overseas contracts don't have such screening. They usually just send people home and say, goodbye, if you get better, let us know. And that's really tough because people don't know where to go and what to do. So the best thing to do is to call someone that actually enjoys helping people with PTSD under the Defense-Based Act and knows what they're doing, so that you can get the proper care that you need, the proper doctors that you need. That's a whole nother ball of wax because there's a lot of different treatments. They change every day. There's equine therapy, there's canine therapy, there's hyperbaric treatments. There's all kinds of different things that could help you that you would never know if you went to just a general psychologist or psychiatrist that doesn't specialize in PTSD, or you relied on the insurance company to get you someone like that. So in the alternative of heavy medicine, there's all kinds of different things that we can possibly try to do. The insurance company will always deny, but we'll fight for it. And when we go to a judge, if we have to, or the Department of Labor, if we have to, we're gonna show why these things are relevant and necessary for your continuing medical treatment and try to get them approved. The last thing is there's a 1-year statute of limitations on injuries in terms of physical injuries under the Defense-Based Act, meaning you have to file a formalized claim within 1 year of your injury. In PTSD claims, they act a little differently. There are exceptions to that rule because our argument is that sometimes you don't know exactly how bad it is or what's wrong with you. And the best way that I can explain it is people are in denial. I have clients that didn't realize how badly their work life was going to be affected by PTSD symptoms, panic attacks, things like that, until 2 or 3 years later. That's delayed onset PTSD. The insurance company will say you blew the statute of limitations, go away. We say no, there's an exception to that and we're going to fight for that, and we're going to get you the care that you need. There's one misconception out there that a lot of people don't necessarily understand. You could still get benefits under the Defense-Based Act if you're diagnosed with PTSD directly related to your work, even if you can work. Whatever your limitations are is what the insurance company is liable to have to pay you. And I'll just give you an example. If you were overseas doing security work and you went through a bombing, you suffered from PTSD, and you made $150,000 a year. Well, you can come back and they could say, well, you have mild PTSD, here's some medication, maybe you can sleep better. You might be able to get a decent job. You might be able to get a job that you can do that's in a quiet atmosphere, but you also may have limitations for life. And the limitations might be that you can't handle a gun, or you can't be in a combat zone anymore, or you can't go over to Afghanistan anymore, forever. That's called a lack of earning capacity. That means you're partially disabled. Even though you can work and make some money, maybe $50,000 a year here, you can't go back to the job that you made $150,000 at, maybe forever. And your doctor's going to tell you you can never go back to a combat zone. It's going to be a trigger. There's money there that you can get for that. And a lot of people don't understand that even if the PTSD is relatively mild and you can function normally in a calm setting, you still might have money that's due you because you can't go back to that high-paying job overseas. Again, this is Brian Wiklendt. Thank you very much for listening. We help family members. We have things on our website in terms of national databases, emergency situations for PTSD people. Please take a look at that, and you can always call me for free. And if you don't feel comfortable calling me, call someone that's a lawyer that does Defense-Based Act law that knows what they're doing when it comes to PTSD. Thanks again for listening. Take care.